You also had talked about more on retention here, but lessons that you had learned from the B2C world and how they apply to B2B. And most folks on this podcast are B2B, but we all know that like B2C expectations on customer experience and like now that we can get Amazon to deliver us things, sometimes order in the morning is here in the afternoon. Many studies have talked about how B2C and setting priorities and expectations has directly moved over to the world of B2B. I'm interested in your retention lessons from the B2C world and how those apply to B2B.
Good point. Good question. The B2B segment or side of our business is really what I would call franchisor to franchisee, very much a business to a business. And we play a number of roles in that relationship. It's a very interdependent relationship. If you were in B2B and you were selling software, you could probably say the same thing, that you're really interdependent with your key customers and clients. Yeah. For us, in terms of, it's a little bit different with franchising perhaps, because when a candidate comes into our network and signs a franchise agreement, it's a 10-year agreement. Now, it doesn't mean they got to stick around for 10 years. They could sell the business, they could do a bunch of things, but it's ultimately this agreement that we live by with them. And the best franchise companies, and I hope to believe that we and I always act this way, is ongoing support, training, making sure that you're innovating, providing technology tools, programs, marketing, all of these things, all of these systems that you provide them, support that you provide them, ultimately endear that franchise owner to the brand. And those are the reasons why franchise owners stay with a brand like ours, and they have no problem paying ongoing royalties or continuing fees because they're getting great value and they're getting great support. The second thing that I would say is listening to franchise owners or listening to your client in this process is vital. Listening to their feedback and continuing to be focused on improving systems. They want to have a voice. It's important they have a voice. This is not a top-down strategy. Okay, this is giving them tools and ultimately helping them to execute sharply in their business. And that's ultimately the order of the day. And so all of this leads to what our ultimate goal is to make them successful, profitable, and they can hit their goals. But also when that 10-year agreement is up, they want to renew for 10 more years. Okay. So it's no different than getting a continuing contract in B2B. So it leads to another 10 years. That is, Steve, the most important metric of a successful franchise company, which is renewal rate. We have a renewal rate here of about 99%.
Wow.
So what that means is that everybody's re-upping for 10 more years.
Yeah.
And that's something that we track. It's something very important. And I think there's similarities across all industries in B2B that look at these kind of metrics. Ours happens to be renewals. So that's our line of thinking in terms of how we retain franchise owners, bring in new franchise owners. That's what we focus on.
There's going to be people that are literally drooling right now because one of the key metrics of the business should be NRR, net retention rate. And they would love to have a 98 or whatever, 99% retention rate. I guarantee you that's phenomenal in any business that you could do that.